So, as things go on, certain things are fun to rewatch, other things are not fun to rewatch. And I think we each have a movie in mind that holds up and does not hold up. So let's start positively.
I will die on the hill, no matter how stupid other people think, that the first Superman movie with Christopher Reeve is one of, if not the best comic book adaptations of all time.
Really?
Yes, I stand on that hill because every time I watch it, the score is perfect. Christopher Reeves is perfect. Like, I hate to say it, but nobody can beat Reeves, and it's unfortunate that he is the standard because we may never have another stellar Superman in that way. But we'll always have Reeves, so I'll live with that.
Cross my fingers for James Gunn. We'll see what happens.
I do hope he can at least like somewhere touch that legacy. I think the plot line with Luthor is genius because it's not Luthor is already this massive billionaire who's trying to destroy the planet. He's just starting out. I think the plot line with Krypton and I already forgot his name.
Marlon Brando?
Marlon Brando. I think that's awesome.
I'm having so many Jimmy moments.
I'm sorry.
This is weird.
I know the actor. I'm sorry. It's, in my opinion, it addresses the origin of Superman. It addresses the character of Superman. It addresses Lois in Superman. It addresses Luthor. It hits every hallmark of Superman while addressing how goofy it is, but in like a wink and nod kind of way.
Now, here's the thing with that movie specifically coming out when it came out, which was 79,
78? Oh.
Like, comics were not at all a serious thing at this point. Yeah, excuse me. I'm gonna tell you the one. Comics were not at all a serious thing at this point, and like, especially if you look at the 70s, as far as like some of the stories they were telling and stuff. They were very goofy.
Mantis.
Well, yeah, like it's all. It was more fun, and it definitely was for kids. So that movie has this special place of like comics weren't this gigantic crazy thing that it has become. And I mean, really, where that came back was the 90s. You know, like the 90s brought everything. Well,
a little bit of the 80s.
Well, yeah, but like, I mean, like the boom of
the boom was the 90s.
Of the Marvel and the trading cards and I mean, you look at the average number of comics printed before that boom happened. It was so abysmal to where like. You know, as some people we know with copies of Spawn #1 thinking it's gonna be worth something. Like we had like 9 of those when I worked at Maximum, and it was like I'd always laugh every time we came in, or someone would come in and be like, "How much does Spawn #1 go for?" And Cubby would be like, "I don't know, like $4." Like, if you want to buy these 6 and get rid of them, we'll only have 2 left, and then you'll have the 1. Like, that's the only way you're gonna make this go up. But that movie came out at a time where you could kind of be a little goofier, and it may not hold up as far as like the seriousness of the comic book movies now and stuff. But it's funny too because you can also get too serious like Man of Steel and have it not be good. So it's like it sits in this nice little cozy protected time where it was okay to do this because it technically was an accurate representation or the most accurate you could do. Because it's like as much as we love Superman being basically God, he wasn't aggressive in the 70s.
Exactly.
You know?
He was kind-hearted. He saved a cat from a tree.
And that was like the Adventures of Superman. It was like zany stuff going on with Lois or Jimmy or stuff.
Which had to plug in the new animated show, My Adventures with Superman.
How good is that?
I love it because it's an ode to Superman and anime. There's a lot of like cool nods, but it's not. It doesn't go heavy in anime. I think it's fun because it's, you know, it's Jimmy, it's Lois, it's Superman. They're all galvanting across Metropolis having fun.
It's a neat take on a younger group, which has me excited for the James Gunn stuff.
Yes.
Because it almost feels like that's the tone they're going for. Obviously, they'll do stuff different with the characters and things like that. But I have to agree with you. That show has been absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, and also, go watch it, even if you're not a huge Superman fan. That went through hell to make it onto Max and just be finished in the first place. So if you want to see more shows that are like that are like taking concepts we've seen and updating them, making them new, playing with them, having fun with it, go support it because we desperately need more shows like that.
And Jack Quaid is a really good Superman. Like
Very
that was
much so.
actually like super. I wasn't surprised. I think he's a great actor, but it's just funny because like all of his live action stuff, he's like skinny little nerd man, and he's like, I'm gonna voice Superman, and he does an outstanding job.
He does, and I love his like his little like nervous tendencies sometimes.
Yeah, it's almost like that
yeah.
Peter Parker-esque, but like, with the ability to punch a building over.
I mean, Peter could still do that, but not at the same level of Superman.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's Superman 2 is a very hard character in general, so like he always does better in animation, I feel like. So going back to like the Christopher Reeves one, like for any silly part of that movie, it plays into exactly what was going on at the time for that character.
Exactly, and it still addresses the deep psychology of Superman and how it's like, how can you be this protector of Earth when everybody will immediately be against you because you are this superpower?
Although they are super chill in My Adventures with Superman, when
Yeah.
everyone realizes that he's Superman, it's not dramatic. Everyone's just like, yeah, dude, why didn't you tell me that? You should be comfortable telling me these things. And
Yeah.
it's like, what is wrong with you?
I love
Like-
when Olsen is like, yeah, I knew it's you ripped the door off its
Yeah,
hinges.
he's like, not stupid. I just thought you'd tell me which is not how anyone would react in any normal anything. Just so everyone's aware. But
yeah.
on the reverse side of movies that do not hold up very well, and I'm not trying to bag on this. I'm not trying to say anything negatively, because Batman has always been my guy. He's always been my favorite comic book character, and the Michael Keaton Batman movies had a huge effect on me and my life, and me going forward being a nerd and getting into comics and stuff. You can almost trace back to either the 1989 Batman movie or the X-Men animated series. Like that is where I started with most of that. That being said, a few weeks ago, myself and a friend got to go see the Batman 89 in theaters. And I've watched that movie so many times over the years, but I guess putting it on at home casually when you got other stuff going on and someone texts you or rings the doorbell or whatever, like, man, sitting in a theater with just nothing but that movie is a weird ride in 2023, man. Like, that is, there's a lot of just goofiness, and that was when they were trying to make it more serious, but like they can't find that line. And there's a scene where he's in bed with Kim Basinger. Yeah. I just like saying her last name. That's a Family Guy reference. And she wakes up and he's hanging upside down on like a chiropractic thing. And he's just like in his own little world on the other side of his master bedroom, hanging upside down. And it's like, someone was like, well, he's Batman. He has to do bat stuff. And I was like, who the hell are you talking about?
Which is so funny considering that has become like his whole personality, that it's like he's this, as the kids like to call it, this Sigma male who does whatever he wants.
Instead there's another really good like alpha male scene where she like finds him in the Batcave and he's wearing fucking Wranglers and a turtleneck. And I was like, dude, what? It was the costume, but like they put it all into the suits.
Oh, dude, Steve Jobs.
They're like, oh man, I swear to God, he looks like Steve Jobs. And I was like, what?
He's unveiling the Batintosh.
But even the fact, like looking at it now with this obsession with the Joker that people have, and like for the longest time, like Joker never had an origin. And watching this movie, you're like, wow, they fully flesh out an entire Joker backstory, which was never done before or really since that movie came out. You had The Killing Joke, which kind of delved into it, but I mean, he even said in that to like keep that continuity up, like, I don't even know what's real anymore. I could be making it all up or whatever. So it is weird to see him as that. And his whole motive for like attacking Gotham is he like causes a scene in Gotham, and then he gets the paper the next day, and it's like Batman stopped a crime somewhere, and he's like, this asshole. And it's like he doesn't like he literally from that point on is like obsessed with messing with Batman because Batman took away like spotlight from him.
It addresses the personal vendetta those two have against each other, where the Joker literally only does what he does because the Batman stops him.
I will say though, there are weird setups in that movie that I never noticed before that have become like a blueprint for Batman movies going forward. Specifically The Dark Knight, which will always be my favorite Batman movie. But like there is a scene where Joker goes on television and tells all of Gotham he has a surprise for them, which is what Heath Ledger's Joker does in The Batman. There's a lot of similarities and stuff that, like, for as silly as the movie seems now, did a lot for future storytelling.
Yeah.
So it's like, in that aspect, that still holds up. But man, let me tell you, there are some spots in this that are like rough to watch.
I will say, oh, excuse me, one of the biggest disappointments for me is that the Joker origin story. It's one of the ones that it's like it was the only one that was kind of left in the dust. It's like we get it once, cool, with the exception of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker movie, which I haven't seen, unfortunately. I do want to see it, but it's like every other Joker really doesn't have their origin story. They just exist and you're expected to know the character. And then every Batman is like, I'm Batman, my parents died. I'm an orphan, please help me.
I mean, I think the idea of that, like, the reason I've always liked the Joker is because he's a good villain. I don't understand the obsession with people and like glomming onto these villains, because like they're bad people. They're not good people. They exist to hurt other people, but they also exist to make the hero better. So it's like with all of this stuff through Batman, like defining himself through tragedy, the Joker is just chaos that you don't have an answer for, and that's ultimately what he's always trying to stop. And I've always loved that, but they've really gotten into this stuff in the last couple of years with the Joker of like, let's give him a story. Now there's 3 Jokers, now there's 4 Jokers, let's do this, and it's just like little bit overkill with me with that. But that's just me personally.
If I may wax poetic, I actually tried to write a video about this that never got made, which I do hope to reignite. The reason we as humans...
We've got the resources.
We do. The reason we as humans love the villain is because we normally don't walk outside and blow up a building for fun. We don't sit there, Heath Ledger as the Joker, like a nurse costume, banging the detonation thing to blow up a hospital. We don't walk around as Vader with a lightsaber, just slash people who we don't agree with. It's our conduit for our human nature to destroy that allows us to like grab a villain and be like, I want to focus on this. However, it can become an issue of idolization, like with Walter White, Patrick Bateman, is that his name from American Psycho?
Yeah, but where
it's like, it's don't idolize these people, and then whoever Leonardo DiCaprio is from Wolf of Wall Street, because they are villains, and you should not idolize them.
I don't know, man. That guy did some crazy stuff with his money.
That's true. That's true. I would imagine it was a lot of paper cuts.